So for today, this is kind of like we're only meeting today. This week, you guys get off easy. Only one of me this week, which is what we're going to do today. We're already on the Zoom meeting. We're going to complete the warm-up together. And then I'll answer questions on the homework. I'm going to go over the homework from the surface area of the prisms and the pyramids that I posted. That was due yesterday. And then I'll work through any of those questions. We've kind of got a little bit of time today. That's a great day to kind of catch up. And then today's homework is to watch the surface area of the cones and the cylinders video. The good news is it's 5 slides. This cones and cylinders are the easy stuff, right? So that's due, but it's not due until I see you again, which is next Tuesday. So you have like 6 days to do that. My advice is get it done now so you can enjoy your Easter weekend with your families. And then I'll see you again next Tuesday. I'll still be answering emails, so if you have questions or whatever, please let me know. But this is kind of a great opportunity for you to do like a pause and catch up. And then, like I said, I'll see you next Tuesday. We'll do the volume of those 4 solids. So volume of prisms, pyramids, and then volume of cylinders and cones. And then we'll pause again for your test. And your test will be surface area and volume of all those 4 solids, okay? Which will be the week after next. You'll take it like you took your quiz. So you'll take it in front of me on Zoom. You'll get to use your notes. You'll get to use the calculator again. My advice is, I don't know how many of you agree with me, but I think some of us struggled, not us, you, some of you struggled if you were going in and out of your notes, in and out of your notes, in and out of your notes, back and forth into each section. My advice is to condense it. So maybe when you watch the review video, take note on just the review video and use that note as your reference, because you don't want to use up so much time going in and out of your notes and then not being able to finish the test because does that make sense? You're going in and out of your notes so much. I would say you definitely want a formula sheet, that kind of thing. And then if you want some examples of each one, you can do that. But for the most part, it's going to be straight up formulas, and then you'll also get to use your calculator as well. But you'll do the same thing where you do the work and you'll turn in the work. So the last question will be like your work, just like it was from before. That will be next, like Thursday. So the Thursday after next, actually, it's 2 weeks from this Thursday, because we'll finish the volumes and then you'll do that stuff. Everybody's good? Yeah? Okay. All right. So I'm going to start the warm-up. So first of all, we want to go over here's the first one, but the formulas that you need to know from this section. The surface area of the prism. We actually did lateral area, which is perimeter times height. And then we did surface area, which is 2b plus pH, or 2b plus the lateral area. And B is the base area. P is the perimeter of the base. So when you look at a rectangular prism, you actually have lots of choices because they are all rectangles. So I can say that the bases are the top and the bottom. I can say the bases are the right and the left. I can say the bases are the front and the back. Doesn't matter as long as I pick parallel sides. So I tend to just, like, for consistency purposes, I tend to pick the top and bottom as the bases. Again, just so that I'm always consistent with what I do, but it doesn't matter. When you do it correctly, if you pick bases, it doesn't matter which ones you pick. Your lateral area might be different, but the total area will always be the same. So I'm going to pick the top and the bottom as the bases of this rectangular prism. It says to find lateral area, so I'm going to do perimeter times height first. Perimeter of the top or the bottom, it doesn't matter which one. The 5 is over here, the 12 would be the same as the bottom. And I got Leo in the waiting room. Hi, Leo. Nice of you to join us, sir. All right. So the perimeter, again, is the perimeter of the base. So this would be twice the length plus twice the width, or add up all the sides. I get 10 plus 24, which is 34, times the height, which is 6. 204. There's no unit on here, so we would just do unit squared. And I'll tell you now that the test, it is mostly, not mostly, some multiple choice and then some open-ended questions. The open-ended questions are going to ask you for just the numeric part of your answer, so you wouldn't have to write 204 unit squared there. Your answer would just be 204, so just keep that in mind. If it's multiple choice, it's going to have the unit on there for you, but if it's not and it's open-ended, then that's when you're going to see you don't need the units on there. Leo, make sure I can see your face, please. Thank you, sir. Okay, you can mute yourself or unmute yourself if you have a question. You're okay. Just what? You just muted yourself. All right, so then the total area is 2b plus pH, or because we already have it, 2b plus lateral area. B is the base area, so the base we're saying is the top or the bottom here. So we would say it's length times width, or 5 times 12, which is 60. So 2 times 60 plus the lateral area we already found, 204, is 120 plus 204, which is 324 units squared. Questions on that one? So I would say rectangular prisms are the most common prism. You will definitely see a rectangular prism surface area volume, so definitely get to know these. Okay. Numbers 3 and 4 go with a triangular prism. So same formulas, the lateral area is the perimeter times the height, and the total area is 2b plus pH, or 2b plus the lateral area. This time it matters which one you use as your bases, right? So if one of the sides of a prism is anything other than a rectangle, then that is your base. So these triangles are the bases. You have to use those as the bases, okay? They are right triangles. So the first thing I have to find is the missing side length to get the perimeter. If the side lengths are 3 and 4, remember your triple is 3, 4, and 5. That means the hypotenuse of the base is 5. So perimeter would be 3 plus 4 plus 5, or 7 plus 5, which is 12. And then the height of the prism is 20. So the lateral area is 12 times 20, or 240 units squared. Now the base area, because it's a right triangle, is 1/2 base times height. This is the base and the height of the right triangle. So those are the legs of the triangle, which would be 1/2 4 times 3, or 1/2 of 12, which is 6. So my total area is 2 times 6 plus the lateral area, which is 240. 12 plus 240, which is 252. Questions on that one? Thumbs up if we're okay to move on. Okay. Okay, then came the pyramids. So the most common pyramid was a square pyramid. You could see other things. You could see You could see triangular pyramids. You could see hexagonal pyramids. The only thing that changes is how you find the area of the base and the perimeter. So for the lateral area of a prism, a pyramid, spell it right. It's 1/2 perimeter times the slant height. And the total area, or the surface area, there's only one base, so it's B plus 1/2 perimeter slant height, or B plus the lateral area if you already found the lateral area. Yes. Yep. Yeah, so total area or surface area, because you'll see them both used, is the base, but there's only one B because there's only one base. So it's base plus 1/2 perimeter times slant height. You're welcome. Okay, so in this diagram, okay, you already have your slant height. It's 5. When we get into volume, you're going to see you need to know height of a pyramid. So I just wanted to review how you would find the height if you needed it, because again, you're going to need it for today's notes. Remember, if it's a square, that when I draw the height from the top, or the altitude from the top, it cuts that side into 2 parts that are equal. So this would be 2. The slant height would still be 5. So if I wanted to find the regular height there, I would have to use the Pythagorean theorem. So just keep that in mind, because we don't need height for area of a pyramid, but we do need height for volume of a pyramid. So you'll either be given the side length and the slant height, or the side length and the height, and you're going to have to use the Pythagorean theorem or your Pythagorean triples, which we review on that video again today, to find that missing side. Okay, but this one I already had. The slant height was 5. The base edge is 4, because each of the base edges are marked as 4. The lateral edge, which would be this one that runs down. Okay, let me erase this off. The lateral edge would be one of these corners. So this you would also use the Pythagorean theorem for, except that the hypotenuse is not 5 anymore. This would be 2. This side is that 5. This is the lateral edge, which is the hypotenuse of that triangle. So I have to do 2 squared plus 5 squared equals that lateral edge squared. 4 plus 25 equals e squared. 29 equals the edge squared. So the edge is the square root of 29. So by lateral edge, we're talking about one of the segments that goes from the point on the top of the pyramid down to the vertex on your base. Okay, now lateral area is 1/2 the perimeter of the base times the slant height. The base, again, is this square. Each side length is 4. So the perimeter would be 4 times 4, or 16. And the slant height was given to us as 5. So now I can either multiply the 16 times 5 and then divide it by 2. If you're using a calculator for this, you could do 0.5 times 16 times 5. Or you could just do it by hand. 1/2 of 16 is 8, and 8 times 5 is 40. And this time it gives me a unit, so it's meters squared. with me so far? Okay, then the total area is the base area plus 1/2 the perimeter times the slant height, or the base area plus the lateral area. Since we already have the lateral area, I'm going to use the second one. B is the area of the base. This is a square, so it would be 4 times 4, which is 16. 16 plus the lateral area, which is 40, gives me a total area of 56 meters squared. Okay, questions on the warm-up at all? So again, if you're keeping a note, I would start to do a note where I have something like surface area. Well, actually, I would do lateral. I would just do all the prisms. And then I would do the pyramid. And then today you're going to add on cylinder and cone. And I would say that the prism, I would start with lateral area, perimeter times height, total area 2b plus pH, or 2b plus lateral area. And then we're going to add on volume. You'll add that on next week. Then pyramid, lateral area 1/2 perimeter times slant height, total area base plus 1/2 perimeter times slant height, or base plus lateral area. And then again, next week you're going to add on the volume. And then you're going to want to do the same for the cylinder. Lateral area, total area, volume. You'll have 2 of those before next week. And then the volume will come next week. So today, over the weekend, or hopefully before the weekend, because I would say get it done early so you can enjoy your weekend off. You'll do the cylinder and the cone, the lateral area and the total area. So here's the other benefit to your distance learning, is that normally you would not get a formula sheet. If you were taking this in class, you'd have to have those memorized. But now you get your formula sheet, which should definitely help you. And you get your calculator, which should definitely help you. Okay, questions before I flip to the homework? Go ahead, Lewis. No. Yeah. So that's the only one that's weird. If the base is like a rectangle, these formulas only work for regular regular polygons. Regular prisms and pyramids. So if I was to do that, like say this is 3, this is 5, and then I got the slant height was 6, okay, then I would have to do the area of the base. Well, if I'm doing total area, let's say I just jumped to total area, it would be B plus 1/2 perimeter times slant height. I'm sorry, you can't use that. Just kidding. You cannot use that if it's a rectangle. If it's a rectangle, I'm going to do the area of the base plus there are 2 different size triangles, the front and the back. So I can do 2 times the front triangle, and then 2 times the side triangles, because there's 2 of those, which would be, let me do a different color, this one and this one. So what you'd have to have also is maybe like this front, you'd have to have this, let's say that this is 4. I'd have to find the area of the base, which is the easy part. That's 3 times 5, which is 15. And then the area of the front triangle would be 1/2 3 times 4, or 2 times 3, which is 6. So that's 12. And then the area of the side triangle would be 1/2 5 times 6, or 15, and there's 2 of those. So that'd be 30. And then I'd add all of these together. So 27 plus 30, 57, this would be units squared. So the bases that are not regular, that's the only time you have to actually add them all up. The rest of the time you can use that formula. You're welcome. Any other questions before I get into the homework? Sebastian, what happened to you? Okay, so here are the solutions for this. So I'll actually, I think A day and B day, yeah. I'll post this so that you can check them more specifically. But if you know you got hung up on one, this is your opportunity to ask. So I'm going to kind of zoom in on the top. First of all, some of you forgot the Euler's theorem. You guys got to make sure you're reading instructions. It says check your answer using the Euler's theorem and show the work. So please, 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 please make sure you're reading your instructions. It stinks to lose credit on questions just because you didn't show your work or whatever it is. So number 1 was a pentagonal pyramid with 6 faces, 6 vertices, and 10 edges. And you can use Euler's theorem to make sure you're right, which is F plus V equals E plus 2. 2 is a square prism, which is also called a cube. 6 faces, 8 vertices, 12 edges. And again, you can use Euler's to check. 3 is a triangular prism, 5 faces, 6 vertices, 9 edges. Okay, then we got into the prisms. So number 4 was a trapezoidal prism, okay? So the base was a trapezoid. This just said find the surface area, so you didn't have to first find lateral and then the surface. So I'm going to use the 2b plus ph there. The base of the trapezoid, or the b, which is the base area of that, the area of that trapezoid, should have been 20.35. The perimeter would have been 19. And then the total area should have been 268.7 miles squared. I hear you, Leo. I'm tired too. Questions on that one? Okay, number 2 was a pentagonal prism. So the area of the base, you had to use 1/2 A and S. The A was 7.6. The N, because it's a pentagon, is 5. And the length of each side was 11. So the area of the base is 209. The perimeter of the base would have been 5 times 11, which is 55. And then the surface area should have been 968 kilometers squared. So that's the 2b plus ph. 2 times the base area, which was 209, plus the perimeter, which is 5, times the height of the prism, which is 10. That's okay. Number 6 is a rectangular prism. So you get 2b plus ph. The base, again, it's rectangular, so you can pick any one. I picked the base as the bottom here and the top. Okay, it's kind of slanted, but those are the ones I picked as the base. And then I did 10 times 2, so the base was 20. 2 times 20 plus the perimeter of the base is 2 times 10 plus 2 times 2, or 24. And the surface area would be 2 times 20 plus 24 times the height of the prism, which is 7. And you get 208. Questions on that one? Okay, 7 hexagonal prism. So the bases are hexagons. I had to do 1/2 A and S. Which one? Oh, okay. Sorry. Wait. Oh, my screen froze. Hang on. Let me stop and jump back on again. There we go. Okay. Ah, I did it again. This is the worst time of the day for me for Zoom. I don't know if it happens to you guys too, but my Wi-Fi tends to freeze right around this point today. During the day. Okay, now you can see it, right? Yes, shake heads, yes or no. Okay, okay. All right, so 7 is your hexagonal prism. Again, that's a 1/2 ANS. So 1/2 A was 10.4. N, because it's a hexagon, is 6. And the length of each side is 12. So the one base was 374.4. The perimeter is 6 sides times 12 for each side, so 72. Surface area would be 2 times the base area plus the perimeter, which was 72 times that height of the prism, which is 8. And you should have gotten 1,324.8 feet squared. Number 8 is a square pyramid. So now we're talking about pyramids, right? So now we went from prisms up to that point to now we're on pyramids. So the base area on that square is 5 times 5, which is 25. The perimeter is 4 times 5, which is 20. And the slant height is 5.6. Total area of surface area for number 8 should have been 81 centimeters squared. Number 9 is a rectangular pyramid. So this is the one where you had to add them all together. You had to find the area of the base, which is 10. Because it's a rectangle again on the bottom. You had to find the area of the front and the back, which were the same. They should have been 12.75. And the right and the left should have both been 5.6. And then you just got to add them all together. Everybody good? Yeah? Okay, I'm going to move on to that last page, which was 2 more pyramids, and then the last one was a prism. So number 10, Pentagonal Pyramid, which is the base area. This was a pentagon, so I had to do 1/2 ANS. Base was 84. Perimeter was 7 times 5, which is 35. And the slant height's 11.1. So you have to do the base area, 84, plus 1/2 PL, and you should get 278.25. $11 is a triangular pyramid, but the base is actually an equilateral triangle. So I can do the base is 1/2 the base times the height. You could have also done, oh no, that's the way you want to do it because it gave you the height. So 1/2 10 on the bottom times the height of the base, which is 8.7, and you got the base area is 43.5. Perimeter is 10 times 10 times 10, or 10 plus 10 plus 10, which is 30. And then the surface area is 228 inches squared. And then the last one was a right triangular prism. So the bases are triangles, specifically right triangles. 1/2 base times height gave you that the base area was 6. The perimeter, 3 plus 4 plus 5, which is 12. So 2 times the base area gives you 12, plus the perimeter, which is 12, times the height of this prism, which is 1. And you should get 24 yards squared. Questions on any of these? Are you sure? For number 12, you mean? Okay. Because obviously that, I mean, and that's a triple, but you should have gotten the same answer if you did the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, for the area, you mean? Okay, just be careful. So when you're doing the area of a right triangle, it's always going to be the legs, not the hypotenuse. So 1/2 base times height, but don't use the hypotenuse. It's always the legs. You're welcome. Camilla, you had a question? Yeah, I'll post them right on the assignment. You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, so what I'm thinking is obviously the surface, I mean the cones and the prisms, I mean the cones and the cylinders come next. But how about if I don't know if you guys will do it, tell me if you'll do it before I do the work, is create another of these just for extra practice. So you don't have to turn it in if you don't want to, but I'll add on the cone and the cylinder to it. Would that be beneficial? I'll post it as like a non-graded assignment. So if you want to do it, you could do it, but you do have like 5 days off. And I mean, I don't know if you guys are like me, but I'm not leaving the house for 5 days. So we do have a little bit of extra time to play with. So I will post it, but it's completely optional. It's not graded, but I will post it and then I'll post the solutions with it. So I'll generate a new one of these with some new examples, and then I'll add on the cones and the cylinders. It will all be surface area though. And then after next week, we'll worry about adding on the volumes. Okay. Would that work? Yeah. Okay. So then on Tuesday, when I see you again, by Tuesday, you should have watched the cones and cylinders. Again, like I said, it's super short. So this is like the best opportunity to get something easy done. Watch them. Just take a couple of notes. There's like 2 examples on there, and then the formulas themselves. And then the homework that's posted is what you'll turn in for cones and cylinders by Tuesday. But if you get that done early, then I'll post this extra review, and then you can work on that at some point. And then on Tuesday, I'll go over the homework from the cones and the cylinders. We'll do the warm-up together for cones and cylinders. And I might even do like a little bit of a quick review with you guys, like either a Kahoot or a quiz or something, so that we could do a quick little assessment during this time. Sound good? Yeah, okay. Any questions for me? Everybody's good. All right, then have a great day.